I've been very fortunate, you know, the last 4 or 5 years to be completely embraced by some great Cleveland, you know, I call them heroes and local legends, and really they've influenced me and just helped me along, and in turn I've been able to play some really great venues and meet some really great audiences that have embraced my original music and my interpretations of the classics. So now I'm headed down to Memphis to do a little blues challenge called the IBC, which is first time for me and going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. So I got to do this interview at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last week, interviewed by Jim Henke. It was just an honor to be there and to be welcomed in there in such a, you know, an atmosphere as it is, and got to check out some of the artifacts and things of all my favorite, you know, musicians. So it was a real honor to do that, and so check out some of the interview and enjoy.
Hi, I'm Jim Henke, and I'm the Chief Curator at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum in Cleveland, Ohio. And before that, I was a writer at Rolling Stone magazine and an editor at Rolling Stone. And I've also written several books. So I'm here today to talk to Kristine Jackson about her life and career.
Right.
Hi, Kristine.
Hello.
So I know in your bio you said you were raised by a boogie-woogie playing father and a Motown-loving mother.
Yes.
Want to elaborate on what your parents are like and what they did?
Well, my mom's not the most musical as far as playing an instrument, but she's always appreciated good music. So I grew up listening to like 105.7, which is the oldies station here. So that was my first influence as far as Motown and blues. And my father is a piano player. Like boogie woogie was his main forte. Self-taught, of course. But so yeah, I grew up listening to him playing, you know, boogie woogie and blues.
Did he play professionally, or was it just a hobby?
No, just a hobby.
Did you ever think of playing piano yourself?
No, I never really. I mean, I tinkered around with it, but I never got into it.
Huh.
No.
Did you keep up with like other contemporary music as well, or were you more listening to the old stuff?
I was never one to listen to music of my time, I would say. I was always the oddball in school, listening to Jimi Hendrix on the, you know, the cassette recorder, as opposed to whoever was out at the time.
Yeah. Now your first instrument was trumpet, right?
That's my first main instrument that I stuck with.
What did you do before that?
I think I started like on flute and cello, and then I went to trumpet. So.
What prompted trumpet?
We had one in the house.
Oh, okay.
And there was a cute boy in band that I wanted to sit next to, and he had the trumpet. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So you played in the band in school?
I played from 6th grade, through high school and to college.
Oh, really? Okay. So then you met somebody who played with Buddy Miles, is that correct?
Yeah, it turns out I was at a jam night, and a keyboard player was playing that night, and we just hit it off musically and started talking. And he was from my hometown of Elyria, but he was also Buddy Miles' musical director.
Huh.
So he's like, you should give me your number, and like if something comes up, I could, use you as a trumpet player, and that's kind of how that happened. And I got to go out and do a couple hits with him.
So that must have been the highlight of your career up to that point.
Up to that point, I mean, at that time still I was jamming with like Robert Lockwood.
Oh, you were at that point
too? Which was
okay.
definitely another high point, because he's, one of the grandfathers of the blues and stuff. So.
When did you start playing with Robert?
Maybe when I was like 19 or 20 or so, just sitting in with his all-star band, the trumpet. So.
What was Robert like to work with?
He was fun. I remember the first time I played with him, and he hadn't been on stage yet, so I just jammed with the band, and then I went to walk off stage for him to come on stage, and he was like, he motioned for me to come back on and play with the band, and I was just like, amazed, and he introduced me on the mic as his fiance, and I just lost it, Just like turned red immediately. But he was cool. He was a cool dude.
So did you play with him quite a bit, or? No,
I just sat in occasionally, when I was off and could make it to his shows. He'd always invite me up, and he'd tell me to just keep on playing,
So did you, when you started studying guitar, is it just something you picked up and practiced by ear, or did you actually take lessons? Or?
No, I mean, I sat down with a couple people and they tried to teach me, but I was just more by ear. I think I get that from my dad. It's like, I got some theory because of my trumpet playing, but the actual technique of playing guitar is just just sitting down for hours and practicing, you know.
In terms of your songs and songwriting and stuff like that, I mean, how long have you been writing music?
I've been writing like, I guess like journal style, like poetry, stuff like that for some years now, probably like 10, 11 years. Putting in them in song form, maybe about 5 years. So.
And do you find it, how easy is it for you? Is usually the first thing you do is write the lyrics, or do you?
It's different every song, you know.
Okay.
One time I might have a melody, and then I'll come up with the words, or, you know, just, I don't think there's a correct way of doing it. It just happens.
And is it a long process, or do you usually finish them pretty quickly?
It's been both. It's been like instant, and then it's been like months in the making, or years. So
Then what was the quickest song you wrote?
the quickest song that actually stayed true to its form is this tune I wrote called Mary Bell. Yeah, so that's probably the only one I have that hasn't really changed.
You want to tell the story behind that? You actually said that was one of the first songs you wrote that wasn't based on just sort of your personal experience, but was more of a story.
It was more of a story that just kind of came to me. I was walking, or actually riding my bike through a cemetery, and I seen a headstone, and it just said Mary Bell, and the name just kind of stuck in my head. And a month or so later, I woke up with I don't know if you call it a dream or something, but a story of who that woman might have been. And I wrote the song, music, lyrics, and it's been the same since. But it was odd for me because it didn't have anything to do with my personal experiences like all the other songs I've written.
Well, what about Papa Justify? That's one of your new songs.
Papa
right?
Justify is, it's a blues tune. It just talks about in that instance it's about my love for music and just how like we were talking about, the blues is something I've known all my life but didn't know what it was technically called. So it's about falling in love with that music and just holding on to it to get you through things.
And what about Welcome to the Blues?
I mean, that sums it up. It's just welcome to the blues. Everyone has the blues, so it's welcome to the blues.
So is that how you consider yourself as a blues artist? Is that what you say?
I'm definitely rooted in the blues, you know. But as far as my style, I mean, I'm influenced from everything. So.
Didn't have too much to say. My first love didn't even have a name. Some say it